Hi, I'm John. This is my show, An American Scheme, where I'm proving that Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's actual mother. Okay, so it's a thing in my life that, being a gambler, one of the main things that I've always been able to do is that because when you gamble, like on sports and stuff, you go through this really wild journey. And then what happens is you got to deal with all the emotions and then trying to understand what happened after it's over. And then what happens? You go to bed. The next day you wake up, boom, you're back up and you're all refreshed and ready to go again, And so that's kind of one of the things that I've really appreciated that I've learned through gambling is learning how to just go to bed, wake up the next day and be ready to go at it again. And so what happened last night, I've been having a hard time trying to figure out how to deal with keeping my work going, but having to deal with my situation and my home situation. And then, so it's just been tricky and stuff. And so then it's like, well, now it's kind of out. My one secret part's out. And then it's like, well, that secret now, I don't have to worry about it ruining my video. So it's like, okay, well, if something happens, if there's some noises or whatever starts happening and stuff, I'll just deal with it. And I'm not going to worry about cutting it out of the videos. And so it's like, okay, let's just let my videos, if they get messed up, they get messed up a little bit. Let me just try and tell the story as best I can. And there's things I need to get documented that I need to actually give my opinion about certain things. And if I don't do it at the time, it's going to build up so much in me that I've let too much pass by it. And it's going to be that's going to be more difficult. So I think the actual better thing to do is just to try and I got to keep coming at this stuff that's coming at me. So this is kind of one of the things that refreshed me. Last night is one of those things. Last night on Showtime was the airing of a documentary called The Making of Motown. And yeah, and so that was so they showed that last night, and watching that through my eyes, it's one of these things. It's just like, okay, how can I have this information when I see it? And it's like, if people are not seeing this, it's like crazy. So here, I'll just play you a little clip right here. This is a little piece of this was like from a trailer of the show.
We were able to understand a culture that had never been seen before. Motown made black chic. You can never get the amount of talent that was in one room in Motown.
More and more I think about it, I don't know how the hell it happened in the first place.
How did it happen? It's Smokey. That's how it all happened. It's all because of Smokey. And then it says, I don't know how it all happened. It's like, well, yeah, there was something that happened. And this show showed a couple key things about my story. I was like, whoa, stuff that I've been telling people. And then it's like, in this, it's like, listen to them talk. They're telling you my story. And it just comes out. Okay, so one key thing is like, I talk about the song Shop Around. And I say that song happened because Smokey Robinson went, because here's another part too, when they talk about the songwriting development and stuff, and that's a good thing about this, you see the time and effort it takes into creating a song, right? So, okay, Jim, quiet. Okay, so then Smokey, when he said he wrote the song Shop Around, he says, that song took me 20 minutes to write. 20 minutes. And the reason it only took him 20 minutes is because what I'm saying to you is that song is actually about Smokey telling his mother that he got Diana Ross pregnant. Then his mother started telling him, you need to shop around. And so his mother told him to shop around, that don't, just because you become a young man now, there's some things that you don't understand now. Keep your freedom for as long as you can now. There's still some things that you don't understand now. My mama told me you better shop around. So like the whole thing, it's like the mom wrote the song for him. His mom, like you say, my mom told me to shop around. Because what happened? So that's why I'm saying the song was written in 20 minutes. And he tells you in this documentary, there's things that when he tells you, he says, oh, I wrote Shop Around in 20 minutes. Yeah, because that's the song he went and told his mom, hey, I got Diana Ross pregnant. And the mom basically tells him the stuff. It's like the conversation, the song was written. All he had to do is like say, oh, that conversation, I could write a song out of it. And he wrote a song. That's why it took 20 minutes, because the conversation's so fresh in his head. He knows exactly what he's talking about, okay? These are the things that when I watch this documentary, that I get this information and stuff that comes out. Okay, Jim. Shh, 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 quiet. See, even trying to do this, I'm trying. See, this is like a new stage of the difficult. I'm gonna try and do it and allow the talking to take place, and then see what would happen before. It's like, okay, I'd be doing a thing like this, right? And then my dad would start talking, and it's like, so then I lose my train of thought. Okay, this is what was so difficult. I've been making these videos, and then it's like, usually I would lose my train of thought, and then it's like it just destroys the whole thing, because it's like so instantly when he starts talking, I'm thinking, okay. Right when he starts talking, I'm thinking in my head, okay, first of all, did they hear it? And then I'm thinking, okay, can I cut this out? And then I'm thinking, okay, do I need to stop? And then I'll restart talking, but then I can't. I've lost my train of thought. So it just, see what I'm saying? Just like right there. And then if he speaks while I'm speaking, it's really difficult. And this is what I've been dealing with, trying to get these videos. It's just so crazy, but I'm just going to let it go. It's like, you guys are going to need to understand that that's what's going on. But people that don't know, they're, what the hell's actually what's going on? Okay, but this is just the way it's kind of going to... This is just kind of the way it's going to be now. I'm just not going to hide it. See, this is why I had to hide this stuff. I was trying to make the videos like this is really difficult. Okay, so... And see how, even just trying to do it now, I lose my train of thought and stuff. That's the part that's so frustrating, is when you're trying to do something, you're interrupted, you lose your train of thought, you're trying to... Okay, but so... Okay, that was the shop around, so that was the one part. There was a few parts of this that was, and so I'm trying to get through this quick. Okay, so he did the shop round. Another part is Smokey and Barry were speaking about girls, and Barry was talking about, I was trying to keep up with you. We were in a competition to get all the girls. It was some of the conversations, what they had was wild, because you got to remember, they're married. Both Smokey and Barry, they're married during all this early Motown. They're both married. They're all in relationships. But he's talking about these girls and all this stuff. But then Barry said to Smokey, it was really crazy. So Barry says, see, and I wish I had the videos. I don't have the whole video. I could just have just to tell you exact, so I could show you him saying that. And that's the one thing. But I need to get this out now, though, because what he said was so important. So then hopefully you guys, if you have Showtime, you can watch it and you can see it for yourself. So Barry tells Smokey, he says, yeah, we were having a competition with the girls, and it's like, okay, well, Smokey's married to Claudette, so first of all, that's one of these things. It's like, and Barry totally knows this, okay? So for Barry to ever be having this conversation, this is one of these things that I say, these conversations should never exist. You should never have ever heard him saying this kind of thing. But the reason he does is because there is a big deal. There's a big secret that they're holding on to. And like me, I've been holding a secret. And you got to confess it. You don't want to hold these secrets. You got to let it off sometimes. So... And see, what happened is when the beginning of the show happened and they were driving into Motown and they were speaking about, boy, just coming back here, you can have the memories, you can feel the memories coming back, and the emotions and everything that they were dealing with, just going back to that area. And that's you could feel then. See how difficult this is. It's like, okay, should I even try to make... That's what I'm saying. Should I try to make these videos like this? This way I can cut off and then make these long, and I don't know. But I'm going to try. This is the way I'm going to try and do it. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's... But like I said, I got to get this out. Okay, so Barry said to Smokey, he's like, we were having competition with the girls, and then he was like, oh, yeah, you were getting... And then so Barry said, yeah, you are getting so many girls, okay? But Smokey's involved with Claudette the whole time that they're in Motown. And Claudette is also a member of the band. So that's what I keep saying, the highlighting these things. It's like, why would Barry say this stuff when it's so disrespectful to Claudette? And when you know the story of Claudette, it's like they had two kids. Claudette had Barry, named after Berry Gordy, and Tamla, which is named after the Tamla records, right? But Claudette had like 8 miscarriages during the 60s. They were trying to have kids over and over and over, and she kept having miscarriage. So they did have 2 kids, but they had this long string of miscarriages. So that's what I'm saying. For Berry Gordy to be talking negative in any fashion about Smokey hanging out with women and stuff like that, it's like, that is really disrespectful to Claudette. And I don't think that they would do it unless there is one super massive reason that, like I say, that Michael Jackson's actually Smokey's son, and everything revolved right around that instant happening. And so Berry Gordy says to Smokey, he says, Smokey's out there, he was getting lots of girls. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, how could he be saying that when Smokey's married to Claudette? First of all, right there. But then Barry says, yeah, and some of those kids that were out there, some of those were your kid. That's what he said to him. So Berry Gordy's confirming that Smokey Robinson was messing around on Claudette, and because of that messing around, it led to children being spawned that are his children. Like, just the fact that he would ever even mention that kind of thing, and it's like, Jesus Christ. And then you got Smokey's talking about they kept talking about Michael Jackson in a weird way. And one thing he said, Smokey and Barry, I think they were talking about dancing. And Smokey says, shoot, I taught Michael how to dance. And it's like, why does he bring up Michael? Like, there's this way that when they talk about Michael, it's really weird. And then there's also another thing, I can't remember the exact moment, but he was talking about things, and he's talking about Motown. And he says, shoot, that was before Michael was born. And it's like, okay, why is he talking about when Michael was born? Because, like I say, he's the dad. Michael being born was the big thing. So, and you'll hear him, he actually says it. The way that he refers to that is because in his head, it's that moment. Like I keep saying, it's when Michael was born. At that time, it was just a big deal that everything that happened all around revolved around what happened with Michael being born at that time. And then so, see, now it's like, this is the problem. I lose my train of thought right now. It's like, okay, when you're in a train of thought, I'm trying to remember things and stuff, and it's like, boom, now I'm out of my train of thought. This is a difficulty on it. Okay, so in this video, there was a thing that he said about, here was a good one. Smokey, this is a really important thing, which I try and get you people to understand, is how hard it is to get the actual facts of this story. There was actually two things. The one thing when Jamie Foxx was talking about when the Jacksons did the audition, and he stated it the same way, that the Jacksons were doing the audition and Berry Gordy was in the room watching him. And I'm like, and he even stated in this video, and I'm like, saying, no, I've proven that that's wrong, and there's a reason why it's wrong, because the actual facts, there's a big deal of what the actual facts prove. They tell my story of the Diana Ross was there, but so even in this video, Jamie Foxx stated that story. He said, oh yeah, the Jacksons performed for Berry Gordy. He saw them jazz. He's like, dang, it's like, no, that's not how it happened. But they even stated that in this thing. And that's one of the big things I say about how these people are forming the story, but they don't even actually have it right, and they're willing to put that information even in something that's this legitimate, that they're still misforming the story. And so then the other part was Smokey Robinson had a bet. He made a bet with Berry Gordy, because, and this is the other thing, is like, now here's these two people who are right there, who have as much knowledge as anybody in the world, and then they had a conflict. They were talking about who recorded for Motown, heard it through the grapevine. I think it was that song, and they were saying who recorded it first, and then so was it Marvin Gaye or was it Gladys Knight and the Pips? And then so Smokey said it was Gladys. No, he said, no, Gladys recorded that first, and it was a big hit, and then after that, then Marvin did it. And then Barry said, no, that's not what happened. He said Marvin recorded it first, but if there was some reason they didn't like it or whatever happened, they just left it there. They always leave a lot of songs on the shelf and stuff. So he said, no, Marvin recorded it first, and then the Gladys did it. And Smokey said, oh, really? You want to bet? This is what I'm saying. Even these two guys who are right there, who know as much as could possibly be, they had confusion about this little thing. And then so he says, oh, yeah, you want to bet? And Barry says, oh, I'll bet you. And he says, all right, $100, because you got to throw $100 as a real bet, a real word. That's the thing about, too, with even people who are super rich, you throw $100 bill down, that's real money. It's Jim, relax, okay? Yeah. Okay, so it's real money. So he throws a $100 bill down. Boo, that's a real bet. So that means $100. That's a bet. So they bet $100, And what happened was Barry was right. And I thought Smokey was totally right when they were doing it. I'm like, no, Smokey's got him on this one. But no, Barry knew exactly what he was talking about. He knew exactly what happened, and it was really interesting what happened. And so, but that's with even what happened. It's like, even right there, Smokey didn't even know. And Smokey's as close as you can get, but he was even wrong about the certain dates and the things. And that's what I'm saying what happens with Michael Jackson. All within the Michael Jackson story, there's this ball of confusion between the dates and the instances. And then all you got to do is do a little misdirection here, a little misdirection over there. And then it's all confused. And people never have ever understood. And nobody's actually done the real investigation that I have done. And I'm actually showing you why all of these things are occurring and who the people involved, all of it. And so this Motown thing last night was there was another part with Barry Gordy when he was talking about Diana Ross, and there was a part where Diana Ross defied his direct order. He said, go out and sing this song. She's like, you don't tell me what to do. Who the hell do you think you are? And Barry Gordy's like, what? Oh my God, how in the hell are you going to talk to me like that after all that, you know? And that part right there was a really interesting part. And but I think it's part of what goes to with my story. How would Diana Ross ever speak to him in that fashion unless she had this thing where she had, like I said, that he's the one that ordered her to give her kid away. So, and then that's what led to the whole building of Motown. Jim, quiet. See, like I'm trying to do this right now, and it's like, how did I ever do any videos before? It's like most of those videos, a lot of times if you'll hear him speaking, and there'll be a little stuff there, and then if you see the cuts, if you'll see some rough edits, because I had to cut the stuff out. And then this is one of the main things of what like when I started yelling, when I raise my voice and I start yelling at the people, one of the reasons I liked doing that, where I did it so much, this is why, because I was making the videos and stuff, and what happened, my dad would start talking and stuff, and then it would just ruin the videos. But what happened is, if I came on and I was talking faster and I started yelling, he wouldn't talk. Okay, and so that's why those videos, that's kind of why those videos started happening like that, because I'm wanting to make videos and stuff, I'm wanting to keep going, but I couldn't do it and stuff. So what I was doing, I found out that if I started talking fast, I started yelling, and I started yelling, then he'd be quiet. And then I could make those videos and stuff, right? So that's why you went through that process. It's a development. Things happen, you know? And it's like, okay, so... And that's just like right now, this video, it's just like, jeez. I mean, a video like this, it's like, how can I get anybody to watch a video like this? I don't know. But like I said, I've documented a couple things in there. The main thing was that when Barry said about him being the father of the kids that are out there, that Smokey's even the father of some of them. But so, if I never get the actual videos of this, then I can go back and critique actual little things and pick it apart. But I do want you to know that this thing happened last night, and there was major things in there, and they're talking about my story, and it explains everything about it. My story's right there. It explains everything about everything. The shop around is and this is one, like, I had made this shop around video a long time ago. Nobody's ever seen that. They don't understand. I don't know how to get you people to understand or to care about the real stuff. I don't know. And I don't know how. It's like, okay, look at all the effort that's gone into the Michael Jackson pedophile stuff. That's a useless story. Why are we even talking about that story when the whole story is related to my story? The pedophile stuff there's no need to even speak about it. None. There's no need to speak about that. The only reason the people speak about it, like I said, the only reason the Michael Jackson fans speak about it, because it gets them attention from the Michael Jackson fans, makes them all, they're all stroking each other's egos. Oh yeah, you're good, yeah, you care about Michael. But none of them are doing anything to help stop the attack that's coming. Only my story does it, but nobody cares. When my story, it's all over. My story comes up, it's all over. This is the other thing that's why it's for me to stop this stuff that's really got a problem is, okay, so when I came in here 2 years ago, okay, Joe Jackson was still alive, and that's one of there was two main reasons I came in, because I needed to get this information off of my shoulders. I was carrying too much. And the other thing is the people that are involved, they're getting old and they're going to pass away. And Joe Jackson, what happened? Joe Jackson passed away. He's gone now. Okay, and so now three key ones that is Diana Ross, Smokey Robinson, and Berry Gordy. Those three key ones. If any of them pass away before my story comes out, I mean, I can't tell you how sad I'm going to be that this story never came out and that they were not confronted with it. They need to be confronted with it. They're all alive. Let's make this happen. If my story's wrong, then they're going to crush me, right? How easy will it be crushed and stuff? If I'm wrong, then crush me. But that's not what's going to happen. My story's going to be right. It's going to fix everything. And it's going to stop the Michael Jackson pedophile stuff ever. Boom. It's over with. My story kills it. It's dead, done, over. It stops it. It's all, if it's lies, then my story will prove it's lies. That's all there is to it. But none of you guys, because every single one, every single person, and I mean literally every single person that stands out there in defense of Michael always ends up with one thing. Well, I wasn't in the room with Michael and those kids, so I actually don't know. They all end on that statement. And that's the people who are defending Michael. They all end on one statement. I wasn't in the room. I don't really know what happened. My story breaks through everything, destroys everything, says I don't need to have been in the room to actually know who the person actually was. There's no way Michael Jackson was having sex with those kids. That's not who he was. My story actually proves it, but nobody cares because they don't want it to be stopped, because then they can't come out and act like they're smarter than people for saying, oh, I can prove it. Yeah, listen to me. Yeah, I'm smart. Yeah. Okay, but once it's stopped, then they don't get to come out and do that anymore, right? None of them. All of them that are out there doing that stuff, they're all done. And then not only are they done, I actually proved that they were not real Michael Jackson fans, because nobody ever cared about Michael Jackson. Nobody ever saw it. Wow. So I proved that they're all frauds, and they can't deal with that. That's the other problem, is that when my story actually proves how fake they are and how stupid are they, have been manipulated their whole lives, all of that. So these fans, instead of actually being fans to care about Michael Jackson, no, they care about themselves and say, oh, I don't like that story. It doesn't make me feel good. Oh, it doesn't make me feel good. Yeah. Yeah, even my dad knows you guys are a joke, you know how stupid you guys are. Okay, so talk to you later. Bye.